Alright, let's talk about what's happening right now. Because for the first time in 2 years, the skies over Gaza are quiet. No rockets, no airstrikes, no alarms. Just the hum of bulldozers and the sound of people walking back to homes that don't exist anymore. Yeah, Gaza City is literally in ruins. But this moment could be the start of something historic. Because the Israel-Hamas truce is holding, and world leaders, including Donald Trump, are preparing to meet in Egypt for what's being called the ceasefire summit of the century. Let's unpack this, because beneath all the political showmanship, the story isn't just about peace, it's about power, politics, and what happens when 2 years of war finally stop. 2 years of war have left Gaza looking like a post-apocalyptic movie. Except it's not a movie, it's real life. More than 67,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 2023. Over 170,000 wounded, and now tens of thousands of displaced families are returning to nothing. Imagine that, coming home and finding your home gone. No walls, no roof, no street, just dust and memories. And yet, they're coming back, because even in ruins, home is still home. Meanwhile, in Washington, Donald Trump is getting ready to make his grand entrance. Yeah, you heard it right. Trump is heading to Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt, the same place where world leaders once met to discuss climate change. Except this time, the planet on fire isn't metaphorical, it's Gaza. And here's a big question. Is this truce actually the beginning of peace, or just another photo op? Because if you follow Middle East politics, and let's be honest, most people only tune in when missiles start flying. You know how this goes. There's always a peace plan, there's always a summit, and there's always a handshake in front of too many flags. But this time, there's a twist. This 20-point plan reportedly has a clear end game: the establishment of a Palestinian state. Wait, what? Did Trump, the man who moved the US embassy to Jerusalem, just endorse a Palestinian state? Well, kinda. According to reports, this plan is being co-chaired by Trump and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. And get this, over 20 heads of state are expected to attend. We are talking France, Italy, the UN chief, basically everyone who's ever tried to fix the Middle East and left with a headache. But here's the crazy part. Unlike previous American peace plans, this one has a timeline. It starts with a truce, and it ends, at least on paper, with Palestinian state. Now, that sounds bold, ambitious, even historic, but let's be real. Boldness isn't the same as progress, because every time you hear Palestinian state, someone in the Israeli cabinet freaks out, someone in Hamas calls it a trap, and someone in Washington says, "We'll see how it goes." This is the same script we have seen since the 1990s, except this time there's rubble instead of roads. Right now, bulldozers are working every time in Gaza City, clearing debris, opening roads, trying to make space for the living. And it's heartbreaking, because you see kids walking where their schools once stood, parents searching for what used to be their front doors. And through all of it, there's this fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, the worst is over. But peace isn't just about silence, it's about what comes next. And what comes next is tricky, because Israel's part of the deal involves releasing Palestinian prisoners, hundreds of them. In return, Hamas will release Israeli captives still held in Gaza. Now, on paper, that sounds like an even exchange, but in reality, each side sees it differently. For Palestinians, it's a small piece of justice. For Israelis, it's a painful reminder of October 7, the day that changed everything. Back in 2023, Hamas launched the deadliest attack Israel had seen in decades, killing over 1,100 people and taking around 200 hostages. Israel responded with a full-blown military campaign, airstrikes, ground invasions, total blockade that turned Gaza into one of the most devastated places on earth. So now, with this truce in place, both sides are claiming victory. And that's what makes peace so complicated. Everyone wants peace, but no one wants to look like they lost. So, what's Trump doing here? Simple. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, that's not even a joke. For years, Trump has been obsessed with that medal. He's talked about it at rallies, he's tweeted about it, he's even compared himself to previous winners. So, if he can walk into Egypt, shake a few hands, and declare, "I brought peace to the Middle East," that's a campaign ad right there. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If the summit actually works, if it genuinely leads to a Palestinian state, then Trump might actually deserve it. But here's what we know so far about the plan. Ceasefire holds indefinitely unless either side violates key terms. Gradual reopening of border crossings. Reconstruction fund led by Egypt and Qatar. Phased withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. Formation of a Palestinian unity government. And by the end of the roadmap, a recognized Palestinian state. Sounds like a dream, right? Except dreams don't usually involve this many landmines, literally and politically. For people in Gaza, this isn't about summits or speeches, it's about survival. It's about whether the kids can go to school again, whether clean water comes back, whether electricity stays on for more than 4 hours a day. Because when the cameras leave Sharm el-Sheikh, these people will still be here, rebuilding from nothing. And that's what makes this moment so fragile. Peace isn't built in conference rooms. It's built in streets, in classrooms, in the hearts of people who've seen enough war to last a lifetime. So yeah, for now, the truce is holding. The bulldozers are working. And Trump is getting ready to take his peace mission to Egypt. But before we celebrate too soon, let's remember, this isn't the first ceasefire Gaza has seen. And every time before, it's ended in more bloodshed. If this one holds, truly holds, it could be the most important turning point in decades. But if it doesn't, then we're right back where we started. And the people who'll pay the price aren't in Washington or Tel Aviv. They're right there in Gaza City. History has a short memory, but the people who lived through it don't. This time, maybe, just maybe, the silence will last longer than the war. If you want to stay updated on this developing story, hit subscribe, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share this video.